firm and rise. For this truth we put our lives on the line. We're prepared for war, fearing no confrontation. We hit them highways and byways to wake up the whole nation.
You can't obviously believe that Watchmen, Yahoo, and Deborah did not pay me to do the intro for White It Out 4 to deceive the masses. The true Israelites are the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and Native Americans scattered throughout the earth. The Judah team has an agenda to make all the tribes Hamite. Matthew 24:4 says, to take heed that no man deceive you. Oh. And I'm not really
I
Jesus.
know you brothers remember that this young brother was killed brutally and his organs was taken.
Got some questions about the Kendrick Johnson case.
I'm not going to discuss that with you.
Why not, sir?
Because our case is closed.
The family has some concerns about why some things were not taken into evidence.
You see the sisters here? That's the brother's mother right there. Okay? That's the brother's mother, and that's the brother's grandmother.
There was blood on the
I'm
wall.
not going to discuss the case with you.
And why is that?
Because I don't want to.
As you can see, you ain't dealing with no monkeys. We want our money, you gon' pay us for slavery. We mad as hell, but we ain't take no apologies. You say you're sorry, just go get out that money. Reparation, boy, we want our reparations. Separation, boy, we want our separations. We want our own flag, we gonna get our own flag. But keep your damn sin, just keep all of your damn sin. Hebrews are coming, Hebrews are coming, yeah. Hebrews are coming, Hebrews are coming, yeah. 100,000, 44,000, 100,000, 44,000, 100,000, 44,000, 100,000, 44,000. Hebrews are coming, Hebrews are coming, yeah. Hebrews are coming, Hebrews are coming, yeah. 100,000, 44,000, 100,000, 44,000, 100,000, 44,000, 100,000, 44,000.
Get down or lay down, be about it or be without it. Cut a sin or cut it out. Y'all should all on the quam now. We woke up, y'all so stuck in they. We got next on this.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is
Army of Israel, 37 in the Valley of Free Ready, One Love, Unleash Parking. The parking lot, before we park in the parking lot, notice the signs, right? Like, you see the sign right here? It says, we are standing up so we can live our lives and our children can live without fear. What happened to Kendrick KJ Johnson? I know you brothers all remember that this young brother was killed brutally and his organs was taken. Okay? We spoke about this all over the YouTube channels. Okay? And this is his hometown. Okay? And if you see the sisters here, that's the brother's mother right there. Okay? That's the brother's mother. And that's the brother's grandmother. Okay? So obviously, our sisters out here looking for justice for this young brother.
Got some questions about the Kendrick Johnson case.
I'm not going to discuss that with you.
Why not, sir?
Because our case is closed.
The family has some concerns about why some things were not taken into evidence. There was blood on the wall.
I'm not going to discuss the case with you.
And why is that?
Because I don't want to.
Then, less than a minute after he'd invited us in,
What did you not understand that I said? I'm through talking to him.
He ushered us out.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Of Kendrick's face.
As handsome as my son was, then you see him like that,
Did the Harrington Funeral Home do with Kendrick's organs? And why was he stuffed with old newspaper?
It's just crazy how the Most High put you in position to be somewhere, to be a light and to help the sisters bring this information out. Because Zechariah 11:5, you want to get Zechariah 11:5 on your phone, get Zechariah 11:5. Okay? So what happens is that our sons and daughters are being killed. Number one reason is because it's biblical prophecy. Okay? According to the Bible, sisters, we teach, according to the Bible and history, that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay? The Bible talks about us coming into cargo slave ships in the book of Deuteronomy 28th chapter. The Lord brought us out of Egypt. He gave us the law, statutes, commandments. He made a blood covenant with us in the wilderness by the hands of Moses. And we enter into a covenant to keep his laws, statutes, commandments, to be his people. And one of the punishments, one of the curses said that we were going to come in the cargo slave ships. It also tells you that our children, okay, will be given unto another people. It tells you that our young men shall die. Okay? It tells you that that the black man wouldn't take care of his children. That the black man and black woman will be at odds against each other. Get on Deuteronomy 28. Get Deuteronomy 28 and 15. And also in Zechariah 11:5 is a profound scripture that talks about that our people will be put to death and there should be no justice for our people. So every time we look around the United States of America, young black men are being put to death, being killed, shot, and every single time the police officers get away with it. They never found guilty. Okay? And that's recorded in the Bible. Now forget that first, Zechariah 11:4.
Jacqueline Johnson knew something was wrong when their 17-year-old son Kendrick did not come home from school January 10th.
Come to Lowndes High School now. There's a dead body out here.
Okay, where at, sir?
Lowndes High School in the old gym.
The next day, Kendrick was found upside down in a rolled cheerleading mat like these. Who was 5'10", was reaching for a shoe that had fallen into the center of a 6-foot mat and he got stuck. A tragic accident.
Said it was no foul play. He had no bruises, no nothing.
Did you believe that?
No.
And you still don't believe it?
No, I don't.
They think the story about the mat is a cover-up.
Well, I didn't know what to think.
According to Georgia law, Coroner Bill Watson should have been contacted immediately. Kendrick's body was found at about 10:30.
I was notified at 3:45.
Lieutenant Stride Jones is with the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office.
It's a very time-consuming process to basically work your way from the outside in. Once our investigators got to the deceased, the coroner was contacted immediately.
The only reason that I was questioning this incident whatsoever was I wasn't called to the scene in a timely fashion.
Rock and it would have fell over. I tried to get in it. I couldn't get no forward my neck muscles into the mat.
Then there's this photo of Kendrick's face.
As handsome as my son was, then you see him like that. It's
the second time Jacqueline Johnson cried next to her son Kendrick's grave. The first time he was being lowered into the ground. This time he's being pulled out of it.
Did you ever expect you'd have to exhume his body?
No, I didn't expect to have to bury his body.
In June, Kendrick's body was sent to Florida. The Johnsons hired Dr. Bill Anderson to conduct an independent second autopsy. In that autopsy, Anderson told the Johnsons he'd found evidence that Kendrick died as the result of a blow to the neck and not accidental asphyxia, after slipping into a rolled gym mat at school, as investigators in Georgia had said. But what Dr. Anderson did not find shocked them.
When we got the body for the second autopsy, that organs, the heart, lungs, liver, etc., were not with the body.
The brain?
The brain, they were all absent.
Every organ from the top of Kendrick's head to his pelvis gone.
This Bible's about us. When you go in this Bible, they told us that this Bible was the so-called white man's book. But when you go in the Bible, it describes Christ as a black man, a so-called Negro. Moses as a black man. We passed out as an Egyptian. We should know that. Okay, they called Paul, they thought Paul was an Egyptian. Okay, so Egyptians are black people. Okay, so that Bible is our record and our history. Okay, and the reason why we're suffering and why you mothers out here right now is looking for justice, because we are the people that fell upon the curse. Read that Zechariah 11:4.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord my God.
Yeah.
Feed the flock of the slaughter.
So the Bible said, feed the flock of the slaughter. What did he told Peter? He said, if you love me, feed my flock. Right? 3 times. So now he said, feed the flock of the slaughter. Because our people are being slaughtered. Your sons are being slaughtered. Okay? Our sons are being slaughtered all over the United States of America. Okay? And there's no justice for none of them.
A spokeswoman for the state tells CNN after its autopsy, the organs were placed in Johnson's body, the body was closed, then the body was released to the funeral home. State investigators say it's their normal practice, but what happened after his body arrived at the funeral home was anything but normal. Dr. Anderson showed me the pictures of Kendrick's body he'd taken during the second autopsy.
It's a Black Friday ad, JCPenney ad. Yes.
Stuffing that newspaper in like he was a garbage can inside his body. It's unbelievable.
So what exactly did the Harrington Funeral Home do with Kendrick's organs? And why was he stuffed with old newspaper? We went to their office to find out, but their response to us? No comment. However, in a letter to the Johnsons' attorney, Harrington Funeral Home owner Antonio Harrington denies he received Kendrick's organs. He writes in part, his internal organs were destroyed through natural process and henceforth were discarded before the body was sent back to Valdosta. It's another disappointing answer for parents determined to know what happened to their son before and now after his death.
Verse 5, whose possessors slay them. Whose possessors?
Who possess us? The so-called white man. This is not about racism. This is about truth. They brought us over here in cargo slave ships. They raped, robbed, and murdered, and butchered, and castrated, and burned, and beat, and robbed, and stole us.
We contacted the Georgia Secretary of State's office because they issued licenses to funeral homes. We wanted to check on the history of Harrington Funeral Home. And when we told them why we were calling, they decided that they too wanted to know where are Kendrick Johnson's organs, and they wanted to know more about this process, this practice of stuffing bodies with newspapers, something that they'd never heard of either.
How was the family's autopsy doctor able to determine the cause of death then?
Yeah, I asked him, if the organs aren't there, how can you determine how Kendrick died? Well, he says that essentially blunt force trauma was not in the organs. It was in the right side jaw, which was actually noted as bruised during the paramedics report on the day he was found. He dissected the jaw, which had not been dissected in the first autopsy, found bleeding under the skin. He dissected the left side as well, did not find the bleeding, and he concluded that that bruising indicated, also with the bleeding, that there was blunt force trauma, that Kendrick took that blow to the neck.
You know, Victor, one thing I hadn't noticed, and actually a viewer who works in gyms noticed and tweeted me about this the other day, was that it looks like all the mats are rolled really tightly, except for the one that Kendrick was found in. That seems to have had a large opening.
Okay, gave us bad food, bad housing, made us work to ain't the faint, made us be they bed wenches, our women bed wenches. Okay, this is what they did to our people. Okay, and when slavery was abolished in 1868, I believe it was, we were still in slavery. We didn't have no rights.